Welcome to this DSensor peer-to-peer living cohort clinical trial demo using wearable data. So the use case we're going to show in this demonstration starts with the individual here in white, and there'll be a trial manager or clinician running the trial in this sort of blue background. So starting with the individual, we have to bring their account to life. And when we do that, they're first asked to sign into their decentralized storage account. In this case, it's a MadeSafe account. So we allow that. And then their resolution wallet, the first thing we have to do is connect to their Ethereum blockchain account. And we're also going to connect to a secure messaging system operated by DSensor. And here on the trial side, they have to log into, connect to the Ethereum, and also connect to the messaging system of DSensor. So the trial starts by collecting data, and that data is coming from a wearable. So in this case, we're going to use an Amigo wearable with its firmware number. We can pick this automatically through the Bluetooth connection. There's 3 sensors on it: accelerometer, temperature, and infrared light. So we're going to add those. And the first thing that happens technically we're going to show is a smart contract being created that controls, that collects the information for the hardware itself. That contract then brings a storage contract which sets up permissions over access to the data. So that's happened. So we'll just stop the mining for now. So here we have our Amigo, and we can check the history and the permissions. So the first thing we can do is check if there's any new data coming in from the wearable itself. That's it. Okay, so let's go to the other side of the equation. We need some science to be tested in this clinical trial. So in DSensor speak, the map is a smart contract that contains the science. So we have to create one of those. So this is a wearable post preparation study. Just add more info. Just call it a demo use. And the 2 sensors are the temperature and activity. And here's where the science comes in computational form. So each bit of science has to have a computation, and here it's lying on a GitHub repository. So each GitHub repository has its repository URL, and also we want to access a specific instance of the code. So each GitHub has a commit number here. So this means if we ever want to reproduce this computation and the data, we have complete reproducibility. Then we have some display options. We're just going to create a custom chart, and then we want to test the hypothesis and the research. So again, we need to create a smart contract for this piece of science. competition on the mining there. So here we have our science secured onto the blockchain, and so we now need to connect the science to the participants in the study, and this time it's going to use a more traditional mindset, and so we're going to explicitly invite people to participate. So we do that by clicking here. Because we know who's involved in this study, we know their public keys, so then send them an invite. So back at the individual participant, we look at their messages. We now see that they've been invited by that science smart contract to do the activity temperature, and this time we need to tell that smart contract where our data is that's relevant to activity and temperature. So here we have our smart contract address that we set up earlier, and then we grant the permission. So back here, then obviously we would have as many participants as required in the study, and we can repeat this process. And obviously the data will be exchanged, and then we need to make some conclusions, so we can get a quick summary of that here. So here's some raw data coming in from the sensors. But this is not really what's going to happen in practice. In practice, each clinician will have their own preferred software tools. Here's a very primitive demo where we have our peers, so we can get the data through the same smart contracts, and then we may use R or other statistical packages to actually build some more meaningful data here, a linear regression, and then we can go to p-values and stuff. So this is just a way to show how the individual can add their data securely, grant permissions over it, allow the clinician to explicitly invite them and conduct a more traditional mechanism of clinical trials, interface it with their own statistical package to allow them to make conclusions, and the next part of the story would be for them to publish that to the regulator and open it up for peer review. So thank you for watching this demo.